How's it going?
Pretty good.
Hey,
How are you?
I like the beard.
Yeah, good one.
That's what I'm going for. So
It's my first time, believe it or not.
oh, it is? Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, good. Well,
Yeah.
we'll do the first time together.
Yeah, okay. Very good.
I'm
Yeah.
Come show us your beard, Sarah. Yeah.
I got a little peach fuzz coming in.
How's it going?
Good. Thank you for joining us on this call today.
No problem at all. So, you want my opinion of the saw?
We do. Very much so.
Okay, so the blade that came with it is unbelievable. I was not expecting that blade to be that good. So the top I'm doing right now, I'm doing a herringbone front haul, 12 by 24 porcelain tile, and I'm using this saw to try it out. And then I did another small little tub surround with a high gloss smaller tile. It's 4 by 6. No, what was it? A 4 by 10 high gloss, and it worked very well on that too. The blade's just very good. The fence that you've got on there is useless.
This one or this one?
The one over the blade.
Oh, this?
Yeah, I took mine off.
Okay.
You know, the reason that I say it's useless is not so much. I mean, that would probably stop a lot of chips from flying around.
Yeah.
But to align that with the blade is a pain in the ear.
You're talking about aligning the back.
Yeah, the back with the blade. I have another saw. It's a little Porter cable saw with the tray.
Yep.
That one there, they managed. I don't know how they did it. They managed that you put that on and it lines up perfectly every time.
Okay.
So the problem with yours, because this is nuts. It's pretty typical of that kind of fence. You know what I mean? Or guard or whatever you want to call it. It's just a couple of screws and elongated holes, right?
Yeah.
And to get it to line up, it's just a pain in the ear every time. You know what I mean? And so because it's a dry cutting saw, you don't really need it.
Yeah, and it's really most from a guarding standpoint, we need it. And so we kind of use it to knock down some of the chips and guard the blade a little bit. So, but we also made it so you can just flip it out of the way. So, but it's pretty effective without it even. So. Yeah.
Well, it's not so much the guard. It's aligning the guard. I adjusted it several times. I put a ruler on, like a thing to line it up. But and then you tighten up the screw because you just screw it into plastic, right? And it's hard to get. You would have to take that plastic part off the angle iron to be able to get the screwdriver in to tighten it up straight, because you have to put the screwdriver in on an angle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, to tighten up those little screws, you got to put the screwdriver in on an angle to tighten those screws up. You have to take that off.
Yeah. Well, that's what you put it together. You put this on second.
Yeah. But I'm just saying it's just a bunch of and because it's not a wet saw, because you got a table saw like that and it's wet. If you don't have that little saw, you got water flying in your face.
Yeah.
With that, you don't have any water flying in your face, and I just found it's just easier to take it off and just leave it off.
Yeah.
No dust, but however, I found after using a little bit, you kind of can taste it. I don't know if you know what I mean. You kind of.
I understand. There is a little bit of dust, and if you're in a little space and you don't have any ventilation, you kind of build up some concentration in there. So you do have to be careful with that. It's better to have a little bit of ventilation. So
So no, there's no visible dust, but the chips are flying around everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I've used these saws, and this is probably as far as chips go. It's the worst one I've seen. It's like chips are everywhere, flying everywhere. And that's probably got something to do with the fact that there's no water to kind of hold it down.
Yeah.
And so they just fly all over the place. but overall, it's a great little saw.
Well, good.
I'm actually impressed with it because it cuts through porcelain, no problem at all. That little fence, that micro adjustment fence that you've got there, when you got smaller tiles, obviously, that thing is awesome.
Yeah, I love that thing.
Yeah, that thing is just, I mean, it solves a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Otherwise than that, when you're doing bigger tiles, either fence is just, it's just useless because they just get in the way.
Yeah. Well,
So
we really want to try to make it versatile. So if you don't want any fences, you take them all off. If you want,
that is actually perfect, because usually on these other ones, you've got a fence that's fixed.
Right.
And now if you take those off, you could just got a flat surface, and it works very well thought out.
Yeah.
So I had a question. That filter, how long does that filter last?
1 year.
Oh, so you get a year out of it, and then you suggest replacing it. Well, that would, I suppose, depend on the use too, right?
Yeah, it depends on the use, but there's no hour meter. We don't, so we tell everybody after 1 year, change the filter. But if you use it, 2 or 3 times a year, it's so.
Yeah.
If what'll happen is if you don't change it, eventually dust starts going through that filter and you start blowing dust out of the backside.
Yeah.
Then
like an old vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, exactly. So
So how often would you say that you have to clean that out?
Clean the.
Yeah, like every day, just give it a few turns.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, and it depends on how much you're cutting, but we really say before you empty the tray at the end of the day, you definitely want to spin it and then, clean the filter and dump it out.
I found that it works really nice. Like I said, I was actually quite impressed with it. I wasn't expecting it to be that good, to tell you the truth. So
you have one of our larger machines, the 244?
No, I do not. I know about that machine.
Yeah.
And we probably met in coverings a few years ago.
Yeah, we've met before. So
yeah. And when I saw that machine before it was available, I was very skeptical about it, because probably everyone was.
Yeah.
Everyone was. But something, then Jason McDaniels, that's how he introduced me to Sarah. Right, he keeps on talking great things about it, and then there's a bunch of people saying great stuff, and I was like, I'm intrigued, and so I'm impressed with this one here. I really am, and the main reason that I have like 6 wet saws, so I don't really need another saw. You know what I mean? So, but I was intrigued by this one here because, especially in the winter, right? When it's, you got to put it in the garage, it freezes up, and you got water. This thing here, I got this where I'm working, right? I have it in the middle of the floor, right? And when it's in the way, you just lift it up and move it out of the way. You don't have to worry about it anyway. Because you obviously, make it, all right? But you probably like to hear that from other people.
Well, I just want to make sure that they're understanding, because I actually did quite a bit of tile myself.
Yeah.
And so, this is, this, and I just, over the summer, I did my kitchen backsplash with this. And that's really where we developed the micro adjuster, because, I started doing that, and I'm like, that's so easy. And I always love measuring. I always, even wet saws, I would measure from the blade because I want my cuts, really, close, even 32nd,
Yeah.
And this allows you to do that. So anyway.
That's, I don't know what else to tell you about that saw. I mean, the only, gripe I had about it was that fence, that guard, and otherwise, and the chips. Otherwise than that, and I don't know if there's anything you can do about the chips. Yeah,
the chips are, and it's usually that little glazing that on the edge is kind of, getting away.
Yeah, it's kind of, and I find it happens more when you're taking off, like, I don't know, you got to cut and you got to take off like a quarter of an inch, or you got to take off. That happens a lot more when you're taking off a little bit.
Yeah.
Than when you cut through a whole tile.
Yeah.
You get a lot of those chips flying around. But other than that, I think you got a winner.
Okay. Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
We're
So
pretty excited about it. And so far it's been, people have, just like you said, maybe the fence or the guard, little things. With any tool, there's always little compromises with things that you got to, figure out. And is it bringing more benefits than negative, So,
yeah. And that blade, right? How long do you expect that blade, like compared to like a wet saw blade? How long will that blade last?
What we normally, we expect about the same amount of wear. So actually with that in mind, let me show you something.
Which way are you going?
Yeah, let's go. We'll take you out to where we do our blade cutting and show you. Do we have the blades out there?
Yeah, I think he still has the marble out there. So you're on our virtual little visitor right now, Sal.
And I don't have to walk.
That's right. You make it?
Yeah. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze, no big. Spin you around so you don't get the white light.
Yep.
There you go.
So I don't know if you can see, we just did a test to run the blade out. This is just some cheap, red ceramic.
Yeah. Oh, you just kept on cutting?
We just kept on cutting and wore the blade completely out. And we got about 4,500 cuts, lineal feet. So about 4,500 lineal feet out of that blade.
So is that compared to just regular, that obviously, the type of blade you even get on a wet saw,
yeah,
exactly. You get some that last a long time and others that don't last. You got to match the material to the blade.
Material you're cutting. We just want to make sure this is a reasonable wear. I mean, that's quite a cutting. So we tell people you can expect about the same life as you would with a good quality wet cutting blade. I mean,
yeah. So, I mean, you can't ask for any more than that. Yeah. Except what's the price difference?
The price is, what are we, $59?
For that saw, $59.
Yeah. So it's a $59 blade. So I mean,
that's reasonable.
Yeah. We tried to we don't want to gouge people on the blades, but try to keep it right. It's not $29, but it's,
No, 59. No one should complain about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about the big blade for the big machine? How much are those blades?
$99 for the 10 inch.
Oh, that's very reasonable.
Yeah. Right in the same, ballpark as.
Yeah. No, because I mean, those blades must have a lot more technology in them than a wet saw blade. I mean,
well, we did a ton of testing to figure out the dry cutting, because that was the whole deal. If your blade's not successful, nothing else matters,
That's exactly right. And and you need a quality cut from a dry blade.
Yep.
And I would imagine you probably took a lot of points from grinder blades and stuff like that, how they work. I would imagine you studied those a lot too.
We probably tested when we developed the 10-inch blade for the 244. I mean, we probably did close to 50,000, somewhere between 50,000 and 100,000 lineal feet of cutting just to fine tune that blade. I mean,
and people think. And people think you just come up with a blade and that's it, right?
No, it's
I know it's funny because a lot of people, they with I don't know, with other materials, they think they just make it up and then they send it out and they don't do any testing. Obviously for anything that's developed, there's got to be testing and tweaking and modifying until you get it exactly right.
Yeah,
but I think
you also developed a hard material. So like the one that's on there is a combo blade. And then it was kind of the same with our 244. Then we have like what we call the porcelain hard material, porcelain granite. So if people are doing that, they would get the other blade. And then we're adding in also a marble blade, which is really on the soft side.
I was just going to ask you that. How would this blade because I haven't tried it on marble. How does this blade work on the one, that comes with the saw? How does that go on marble?
Marble, it works really well, but you get into that white marble that's really, it's almost kind of brittle and soft at the same time. It's kind of like glass. It doesn't do well on the white marble. So we have a blade that we're developing for that. So
yeah. And what about glass?
Glass is not something we can recommend, but I can tell you certain glass, cuts well with it. But there's other glass that just wants to explode.
Yeah,
so
glass is
even with a wet saw,
really
glass
finicky.
is,
Glass can be real. I had one time, I was doing a glass shower, and I had Subway glass tile, 12x4, and the same material in an arabesque, and just for a little thing, right? So the glass blade I had cut through that Subway tile, no problem.
Yeah.
To cut through the arabesque tile, we had to change 3 wet saws and 4 blades to figure it out.
Yeah.
And it was the same material.
Yeah. Yep.
So we almost gave up on it because it was such a problem. But then we figured it out.
Glass is all over the place as far as the different makeups of glass and where it comes from and how it's processed. It's just, one blade will not cut all glass, and so that's kind of why we have not found one blade to cut everything. And so we just say, hey, we don't cut glass.
Yeah, well,
try it out, and maybe you will. That's what we tell people. So.
Well, maybe when you develop a laser that cuts through everything cleanly.
Yeah.
That's
my ultimate goal is to have something that looks like a pen. You pull out of your pocket, you go, you cut out you make your cut. That's always been.
Count me in when you figure that one out. Our friend would be retired by then.
Yeah, you can just stick it behind your ear like a pencil, and you just say, hey.
Yeah, don't drop it. It might cut right through you.
And that's the other thing. You don't want it to, cut out your little tile, and now you just cut a hole in the wall behind it and through the neighbor's house. We're working on it. We'll let you know.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, though.
No, it's going to take a little more R&D. So
yeah. So anyway, is there anything else that I can?
No, we appreciate the feedback, and glad you're enjoy using it. We're just rolling these things out, and we think it's going to be a big hit with people. I mean, it's something
I actually I told Sarah that I may make a video and I may not, but I think I'm going to be making a video on this one.
Okay.
Because I'm actually very impressed with it, and I'll send her the link when I do it. It's not going to be for a little bit, but I will make one, and it's a great little saw. I'm really enjoying using it. Besides the chips, I'm really enjoying using it.
Well, there's always a downside to every little something, as long as more positive.
Yeah, that fence. Maybe you could figure out some other mechanism to line it up easier. I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah, we'll look at that and make it
good feedback, like a tool for it or something like that, like an easy lineup tool.
I don't know. We'll look at that. We're always one of the things around here is we design things, we test things, and at some point you got to stop, proving and send it out to market. So here we've, but
and the thing too is probably every time you're trying to figure it out, you got to think of cost as well, right? So I do get that, but at the same time, you've sent it now. You're going to send it to market, and down the as you. Version 2 will come out, and we'll have some improvements.
That's right. We want to listen to the feedback, and then we'll make the, when enough people say, hey, this is a problem, then we go, we got to fix that problem, and that's what we do.
So, is my feedback pretty similar to what you've heard?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Is there anything that other people have said that I should look out for, or?
Just the chips that like Ken has one, Ken Ballin, and he gets concerned because of the chips, and then they get stuck in the rolling table.
Yeah, if he gets you cutting off little slivers and they drop down in, and you got to turn the machine off and kind of fish them out. So because I have an opening there, for the dust collection, but I don't think that's a huge thing.
That's pretty typical with all these types of tile saws when you're cutting slivers.
Yeah.
that happens. You know what I mean? Because you need to have an opening there. If it's just the right size, it's gonna fall through.
Yeah,
You
and
know
our
what I mean?
opening is a little larger because we got dust collection. The vacuum underneath there.
Yeah, I noticed you've got like an opening, a bigger opening at the front of the blade, and a bigger opening at the bigger, and that suction is pretty good.
Yeah.
And I mean, I suppose you need it for it to work. On that bigger saw, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you do plunge cuts with that or not?
You can, but you lose some because you're on top of the tile. Until the blade breaks through, you don't have any dust collection. So,
do you want to walk back towards it, or?
Yeah, we can walk back in, but yeah, so that's one of the things we tell people is but usually a plunge cut is something that's pretty quick and it doesn't introduce too much dust.
Yeah, well, you could always maybe you could do like a vacuum attachment that you can use from the top.
Yeah,
and we do. For the 244, we do. I know Ken wants one for the 228, but
you can't use that vacuum port and cut at the same time, though.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, with that table saw, you could probably do a plunge cut from the bottom if you could line it up, because you would be cutting from the bottom anyway, right? Of the tile.
On the little saw, yeah, you can do a plunge cut if you can.
Line it up
down on it. You're going to be kind of guessing where your marks are and everything a little bit, but
yeah, I know, but something. One way or another, you figure out how to make it accurate.
Exactly. That's what I tell people. You guys, I said, we're going to turn this over to you guys. You guys are going to find things and figure out ways to do with it, because that's what contractors do. They make it work.
Yeah, well, you got the tools you got, and you got a job you got to do. One way or another has got to get done, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. You don't make. So your thing is wet saws, not so much blades, right?
Well, the dry saws, with the dust collection, and then of course we developed the blades, for dry cutting because it's kind of a specialized.
Yeah. Do you sell those blades for like grinders as well or not?
No. Nope. We just sell them for ours.
It's not something you're interested in, right?
Yeah, not really, because that's just a general market, and we're not unique out there doing that.
Yeah, there's plenty of competition. Yeah.
We have dabbled in that a little bit, but it's not, we like to sell unique things. And so that's
something you might find interesting is I was on another job, and there was a mason there, and he had one of your dry cutting IQ saws.
Okay.
So that was kind of interesting. That was after I had talked to Sarah about it. And I was like, oh, wow, there's an IQ saw.
Yeah.
You start to notice stuff.
This is where we started, Sal. This is, I'm a mason by trade, and this is the kind of machines, we started building these about 18 years ago and selling for big mason contractors, so that's, we kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller down to now, we got this little.
And I think something. You're probably going to sell a lot more of those little saws than you are those big ones.
Yep.
Obviously, there's the profit margin on those isn't going to be the same.
This machine right here you're going to spend about $14,000.
Yeah.
$600. So there's a lot more people ready to spend $600 than.
Oh yeah, and especially people in colder climates.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the U.S. is like that. So I think
that's our most successful markets: the Northeast, the Northwest. Even in Canada, it does real well for us.
Yeah. So when is that actually going on sale? That the little one.
The first ones hit the ground about around March 1st, middle of March.
Oh, okay. So it's close. Are they going to be exactly the same as the one I have, or is it going to be little modifications?
No,
exactly
the same.
The stickers will be different. But
yeah,
you guys won't care about
that. Are different and little, very small little changes, but.
Okay, so the original ones become collector's items.
Exactly.
Well, the miter, the micro fence will change a little bit.
Yeah, this is changing. This is actually what you have is actually a hand-built prototype. So the one that comes with the machine is actually, what is called a die-cast tooling So it pretty much looks the same, but so
Yeah.
that is a collector's item right there. So,
Yeah, well, maybe I'll sell them on eBay.
Yep.
So no, but like I said, it's a great little saw, and I am more impressed than I thought I was going to be.
Good.
I wasn't expecting it to be that good, and clean cuts. You've heard my thoughts, so I'm really happy about it. And I'll be making a video, the way I make them. So like I said, when I do that, I'll send Sarah a link to that.
Okay.
And,
Great.
you know,
Yeah, and I've
okay.
been checking out your other videos. That you do a great job. I mean, you do a great service out there for these young guys.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks. So, okay. Anything else?
Nope, that's it. Thank you very much, Sal. And we look forward to seeing you maybe at, coverings or, surfaces.
Yeah, coverings is in July this year, right?
Yeah, coverings
Yeah.
is in July. Yeah.
Surfaces is first in June, and then coverings is in July.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I think there's like 3 days instead of 5 days. They cut it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, well, I plan on going to that one hopefully, and I'll come by and see you for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely stop by.
Where are you? Where do you actually work out of? Where do you live?
Just north of Boston.
Oh,
Are you familiar with Boston area?
a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm 7 miles north of Boston in Medford, Massachusetts.
Yep.
So, and most of my work right now, I'm in North Andover. That's about 20, maybe 25 miles from where I am. And it's a high-end residential area.
Okay.
And this is I do most of my work. But I'll send you a picture of the, I'll send Sarah a picture of the job I'm on with the IQ saw, so she can see. I don't know, maybe she can promote as this is all done with the IQ saw or something like that.
Jamin and Chanel flood me. Jason floods me with stuff. Ken,
Yeah, we love that stuff.
I get Ken messaging me daily, so feel free join the club. Aaron messaged me, so I'll take whatever.
Do you ever run into this old house guys? Tommy and all those. No, I've been with those guys for years. They're kind of fun, but
you know them?
No, I grew up watching all the programs and
sometimes I watch. I don't really watch them a lot, but once in a while I'll see something of theirs when they're doing tile.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm horrified.
Exactly. I've watched them do masonry, and I'm like, that's
Let's just tell everyone the wrong way to do it.
Yeah. But I think the other guy, the carpentry and the waterproofing and all that kind of stuff they do is I learn a lot from some of those guys. But
yeah, I mean, when they're doing that stuff on their own trade, like if the plumber's doing plumbing, and the carpenter's doing carpentry, then that's gonna be like dead on, right? But when you got the plumber talking about tile,
they're
gonna screw it up somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I remember I was watching a video on YouTube, and it was who was it? Tom? No, it was one of those guys, right? And he was talking to a Home Depot presenter about tile, and they were doing a demonstration for people that are watching and say, you do this, you do that, and I'm like, really? Really? This is what you're showing them? Okay, I got more work cut out for me now.
Yeah, I'll be tearing that place, that one out. And
oh my God! But anyway,
yeah.
So anyway, I got to get back to work here. So
well, we appreciate the input, and you have a great day, Sal. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And like I said, I'll send you the link when it's time.
Perfect.
All right, very good.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.